grandbaby from the track meet last night. We got 4
She
medals.
ran last night too.
We went to Baton Rouge.
What'd she do?
First in the triple jump, second in the 100, and she ran 2 relays and they came in second.
She just started back, did she?
Yeah, I was waiting to see if this gonna pop up. Let's go.
Ready? Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wait till a couple of more people coming in live here on your Facebook channel. We're going to continue with our process that we started a week ago. And we're just going to be able to put this information out there and hope that you guys take advantage of this situation, because the information that we're going to present to you tonight and give to you is going to help you to be in the workforce development. And there's many things that we're going to share with you and we hope that you would be able to share with other people. This is about community development. And we are here is to improve your quality of life. And I was always told that I'd rather for to be prepared for an opportunity than have an opportunity to not be prepared. So we are going to prepare you for the workforce. We're going to teach you also, we're going to talk about different skills level that you need to develop. And this is not only in the plants, it's in any workforce. Even through our military, we do have things that we have to comply with rules and regulations. So we're going to give you all the tools that you want and all the tools that you need. So we don't need to take advantage of you. You need to take advantage of us, because all these young kids that's getting out of high school, they're not going to college, and the plant is the place to be at. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. And we really want you all to share this. We don't care what state you are in. We're going to teach you some things that is important for you to develop as a young person, or even as an older person. But we're going to be offering you some things that you would maybe have to pay for. But again, me and Sergeant Taylor, we both retired military. It ain't what you can do for us; it's what we're going to be able to do for you. And Sergeant Taylor, would you want to place some emphasis on that?
Yes. Thanks, Clayson, and thanks for those that are viewing tonight, and those that are possibly going to come on later. And I think Clayton hit the nail on the head. Our topic of discussion for the night, and you can see it on our screen. We just simply want to talk about workforce development. I know that's a big buzzword around the state, definitely in the school system, and just trying to develop our kids to be prepared for the workforce, as well as our community, and just trying to give some information and just create an awareness program of some things that you might not be aware of,
right?
And some opportunities that you might not be aware of. So, hey, just stay tuned. If you already aware of this information, hey, that's great. Hey, be willing to share that information with somebody else. And if you're not, hopefully we can, just enhance what you're doing already.
Right. And also we want to give you a little bit of background of me and Derek. And Derek, I'm gonna let you start out first and tell them is that, we from this little old small town.
Yeah. And for those that are viewing, that's possibly viewing from another state, we're coming live from Louisiana, little small community called Independence, Louisiana. We just say Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana. It's about 30 minutes, 45 minutes east of Baton Rouge, 30, 45 minutes north of New Orleans. A little bitty small community that we both is from. We both was reared, as the old people say, we was reared here, raised, born and raised, and then went off to the military. Clayton went to the Air Force. I went to the Army. We both did 20 years of military service, came back, but Clayton continued his service by way of a JROTC instructor in Massachusetts for 20 years, then came back home and continued his service as well here in the Tangipahoa Parish School System. And like Clayton, myself, a JROTC instructor, and I've been teaching JROTC for 18 years now. So very, very similar paths, very, very similar mindset, and very, very similar uh, compassion and empathetic heart. So
But I also want y'all to understand when we talk about workforce development, and we talking about the job and the important job that these kids can learn in high school. For example, I've taught ROTC for 20 something years. Derek is teaching ROTC, and this is the foundation of building the leadership character within those kids. And unfortunately, some of these school programs, they don't prepare the kids. But I can honestly say ROTC is a plus. You're teaching them leadership skills and you're teaching them workforce skills.
exactly, and life skills,
Yeah,
and
right. Life skills.
and the soft skills necessary for the workforce. We tend to kind of look over the soft skills and go directly to the hard skills, such as the crafts.
Right.
If you're going to work in the, and you mentioned the plant, because that's a major industry here in our community, is working in the refinery plants, and we tend to look at those crafts. The welding, the pipe
Right.
fitting, the scaffold building, and those are necessary skill sets to be successful. But you definitely need those soft skills, that time management, that how you regulate self and how you lead self. We tend to look over leader of self and
Right.
those fellowship skills, and go directly to you know just out just getting a job. But you definitely need those soft skills in order to keep a job as well.
Well, I mean, when you talk about soft skills, not only just going into the plant, those soft skills going to develop you to become an effective leader or learn a lot more about leaderships or things that they don't teach you that it's important for them to know while they're working in the plant.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And like you said, the fundamentals of the foundation is being a leader of self.
Right.
Definitely knowing how to manage self, and biblical principle says to be a steward, to be a good steward, and being a good steward of self. So again, we just want to touch on the workforce development, and some of those things that can help develop just to be developed in the workforce.
Right. And again, we just want to place some emphasis on this. I don't care what state you are in. Again, what is our duties and responsibilities as being retired Air Force or retired military? Just say military.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we trying to offer, especially to a lot of our young youth, our minority kids? But it pertains to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to give them an understanding is that even if you don't go to college, you learn these soft skills and you learn these plant skills.
Mm-hmm.
You can make more money than people who've been to college.
Yeah, of course, man. And we're starting to see that the workplace is starting to shift. There's a shift that's going on, and if you're not prepared for the shift, you definitely get left behind.
Right.
It's definitely not to take anything away from being degreed or having a college degree. Definitely, if that's what your career path, and that's the direction you're heading, you definitely can't go wrong. You definitely can't go wrong with either.
Right.
In the school system, we call it CTE, or Jump Start. Back in our days, it was called a vocational
Exactly.
program. So it's basically the same thing. So but at the end of the day, Clayton,
Right.
whether you go the CTE or the Jump Start or vocational route, or you go the college route, both routes going to lead you to the workforce.
Right.
So
Right.
it's either you're going to go to the workforce by way a degree, or you can go to the workforce by way of certification.
Right.
So you just want to be prepared. Either road that you take, you want to prepare yourself and be ready for it.
And again, and I want all these, please, minority, your kids, they're getting out of high school, they're not joining the military, they're not going to college. Please pass this on. We can help them. We can help them to become better citizens of America. And most kids, Derek, and I don't want to say this, I know me getting off subject, but most minority kids, when they get out of high school, they go to the largest university. And that's one of the biggest universities that we have in America. But you know what? We're not going to get into that. We're talking about how we can develop you, your kids, and your surroundings.
Exactly. It's just we give information to everybody.
Right.
And it's three things that you can do with it. You can use it, store it, or ignore it. You know, I don't like to tailor, even though my last name is Taylor. I don't like to tailor my information to a certain demographic.
Right.
You know,
That makes sense.
I just put it out there, and hey, whoever see the value in it gonna grasp it,
Right.
and then those that don't see the value in it could possibly put it away for later use until their mind develop and they see the how it can be used for later uses. We're going to call that stored, or some people just going to simply ignore it.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
so
I want to share that with you, Derek. I want you to explain this young man we met a month ago, and you had him in your ROTC, and you asked him what was he doing, and he said he working in the plant, and you asked him how much he making an hour. I mean, this guy looked like he just got out of high school,
and
and
he did just get out of high school, and this kid is making $40 an hour
yeah,
and like $150 a day per diem. You know, so man, you're talking about at the age of 19.
right.
You know, and we were talking to him about some of the certifications that we offer in high school, which is NCCER. You know, it starts with, it's the core. It's the first class that you take in NCCER is core. It's just the fundamentals and the basics. It establishes that foundation. So when you get ready to start take those crafts, you have the fundamentals and the basics, which the basics teach you those basic safety skills. And he achieved this NCCR core right
Wow.
there in Hammond High School under the tutelages of Miss Cheney, which is the NCCR core teacher at Hammond High. And now this kid is out doing some great things. I mean, he's earning some good money. I don't know if what he's doing with this money, but he's earning it. You know, so hopefully he probably should have been in Hammond High next year, because Hammond High School, I'm pretty sure across Tangipahoa Parish, is a mandatory class is that the kid as a 10th grader you must take is financial literacy. And I'm excited about that, because it does you no good to make all this money and don't know what to do with it.
That
You
makes
know,
sense.
so it ain't about the amount of money you make, it's about the amount of money you keep.
Right.
So I'm glad we're bringing that to our youth. But and you know, that's something that we actually already teach in ROTC, financial management. So I think our JROTC program is a well-rounded program. We try to teach the whole kid. You know, for those of you listen that are really not familiar with JROTC, JROTC, that's Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's not designed to put the kid in the military. It's designed to put the military in the kid, those soft skills, those skill sets that we need as soldiers and airmen and Marines and sailors. So now you don't have to go to the military to get those skills. You have a program right here in your backyard that's called the JROTC.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, we really want you to be aware. And again, we're not forcing you to do anything. We're just trying to tell you if your kids or you need to advance in life to get a successful job, we're going to teach you how to get it. So again, we apologize for the last audio, but we would like to talk to you about OSHA. And Derek, I want you to take the lead on that, and because we want people to know what we're all about.
Oh man, that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart, Clayton, because when we talk about safety, OSHA is safety, you know, occupational safety and health administration. OSHA, that's what OSHA stands for, OSHA. And I believe when we're talking about workforce development and developing our kids to go into the workforce, I believe that everybody before going into the workforce needs to be OSHA certified. You know, and OSHA, it teaches you about workplace safety, but it also teaches you the first class that you take in OSHA. It's intro to OSHA, and it teaches you about the four categories, four types of OSHAs, but it also teaches you the rights as an employee, and the responsibilities of the employer. So a lot of our people go into the workforce and we don't know that. We don't really know our rights as employees. And so I believe, again, before we sink people into the workforce, especially our kids, you know, in the school system, we kind of hold the key to the workforce by way of a work permit. A student can't go work in the workforce by regulation of the Department of Labor until they're 16, and that in their school age they must have a work permit from the school. I believe, just my own personal belief, I think it's our responsibility to make sure that they're workforce ready by teaching them safety, workplace safety. You know, you have kids going to go out there, and those you're going to be working in some in a hazard environment. You know, so I think they need to be aware, and definitely their rights as an employee.
Right. And one of the things that I think most people is aware of, do people realize the workplace fatalities that they have?
Wow.
I mean, slippery floors.
Yeah.
That, I mean, people around OSHA don't even realize they're around OSHA, and that's why they need to promote it in the workplace.
Exactly.
You see a bad plug over there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got kids running around, you got stuff on. Occupational safety is everything.
Exactly. And you said it, people around, they're around OSHA and don't really understand that code of federal regulation, it governs what they see. Like if you go to, just say, to Walmart, and the floor is wet and you see that slippy floor, and you know that sign, that's OSHA. That's mandated by OSHA. If OSHA was to come in, OSHA have inspectors.
Right.
OSHA is a department that's under the Department of Labor.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So it falls under the Department of Labor. So OSHA is like, OSHA is to the workforce like the police is to the law, to the drive. I mean, to the, like the highways.
Right.
If you speed and you get caught by the police, it gives you a ticket. If you're, or any company that's in violation of OSHA, the OSHA inspectors can give you a ticket. And that fine is much more than a no seatbelt fine. You're talking about a fine that can possibly put a company out of business. And we tend to hear it, you know, like when we have the Gulf Coast spills,
right,
that BP had an oil spill at this company and they've been fined
right,
by OSHA for this many millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah, that's I mean, and something very, very simple as PPE, not wearing your hard hat in the hard hat zone, or goggles or gloves, that can cause that company to be fined.
So anybody that work in the workplace, you must be exposed to OSHA.
They are.
You got to be exposed to OSHA. Now, what if I went into a workplace and they never taught? We don't know nothing about OSHA. We don't know about these gas masks and all this fuels and stuff.
OSHA is going to hold the company responsible. And they, I mean, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Okay,
we say simply because we don't know, it doesn't justify, you know, you being fined. So what OSHA would do, just say, for example, I'm working for a company and I'm supposed to have my hard hat on. OSHA come to the site. We know they want to speak to the leadership.
Right, exactly.
And they're going to ask the leader, development, have you been training your people? And you can say yes, but they want to see documentation.
Okay.
Show it to me on paper.
You can't take my word?
And no taking no word.
Okay.
What you're going to do, you're going to take this ticket.
Right.
This fine.
Right.
You know, so that's the way it goes, man. When they come to a site, and
do they have to let the boy know when he coming in?
No.
Well, what about the 30-day notice? Respect, baby.
Yeah, okay. Respect.
Okay. I mean, I know
they do have those kind of evaluations, those kind of inspections, where you can be notified, but they don't have to notify you. And most times they don't.
Right.
You know, most of the time, if they're going to notify you, they can, as a courtesy. Say, for example, if you're my employer, and you have me working under some unsafe work environment or unsafe work condition, I can call and ask them to come down to inspect
without being identified.
Without being identified. Yes.
Okay.
So, but that's some of the things that in that class intro to OSHA.
Right.
You know, they tend to call it a whistleblower act. You know,
right.
they use these terms.
Whistleblower.
Yeah. So you can, you know, you have all that stuff that falls on OSHA, man, that a lot of our people is just not aware of.
Right. Now, I want the audience to know this. If you're working in an unsafe environment, you my supervisor, Derek. I said, man, look, I mean, I'm starting sneezing, I'm starting getting all kind of, I done told you about it, but you haven't taken any action. And then I done brought it to you again. Now, is there a chain of command that I need to go by? because this is an unsafe, and I can prove that it's unsafe, and I done brought it up to your attention. How would I justify that I brought it to your attention?
I mean, again, I think that was he was being courteous and giving them the benefit of the doubt that I'm gonna let you handle this at the lowest level.
That's where you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, hopefully your company have an open doors policy where you can go to the next level.
Mhm.
But you see that a lot in the workforce. I ain't gonna say a lot, but you see it in the workforce, and because of mission,
Right.
because of productivity.
Right.
They need production. And I would say that's a leadership problem
Mhm.
because we tend to put the mission over the people.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to know how to prioritize things. So if and that goes back to, man, it's going to take us all into leadership. We're talking about the character and talking about being loyal, that loyalty. So now if you're not showing your employee any loyalty, why should he or she be loyal to you?
That's
So
true.
if you're
That
going to
makes
put
sense.
me,
That makes
if you're going to put me into an unsafe work environment, that means you don't care nothing about me. That means you've been just disloyal. So, okay, well, let me just make a call and tell OSHA just kind of pop up.
Well, let me tell you something, Derek. This is what I think a lot of people have the fear of retaliation.
And that is right, man. You hitting right on the it's almost like
People, you need to listen to this now.
yeah, it's almost like where if you are terminated after you file a complaint,
Right.
that's wrong for termination, retaliation.
Okay.
So now that's grounds for
I got
a
you.
suit,
Lawsuit.
a lawsuit. So again, a lot of our people that's and we definitely need our managers and supervisors to listen to this, because if you are the type of person that's have this authoritarian style of leadership and do as I say, when I say do it, when I say jump, don't you say how high.
I don't mean to interfere with you, but it's not politics.
Uh,
This kind of put me in mind of an authoritarian leader. Do as I say, not as I do. I didn't want to cut you. Now continue.
Right. Yeah,
I just-
exactly. And you're absolutely right. So now when you showing that your subordinates, your employees, that you are more mission focused.
Right.
It's more my mission, my people. You know what I'm saying? Instead of my people, my mission. Why should they be loyal to you? Why should
That
they
makes sense. That makes
continue
sense.
to work in this hostile environment?
Right.
So but OSHA, man, I think everybody, and we do have states where having the OSHA 10 card,
Mhm.
it is mandatory. You cannot go into the workplace without being OSHA 10 certified.
Okay, now that we get into that, now let's talk about OSHA 10. Who should have it? How should they get it? And how often? How long is it for?
Okay, OSHA, I believe OSHA 10. Well, we have. Let's talk about the four categories of
Okay,
OSHAs.
all right.
We have construction OSHA. So for those of us that are going to the construction industry, that's a type of OSHA class, because you're going to learn more about the construction industry. The general industry, that's like warehouse, hospitals, that's the general industry. And then you have maritime, that's dealing with, working at the mines, gravel pits, or working
Okay.
around water. And then you have disaster. So you have those four kind of categories, and they have what's called the OSHA 10 and the 30 level.
Mhm.
And the 10 is more of an introductory for, like, if you want to call it a beginner. It's just teach you hazard recognition
Mhm.
as it relates to that industry. So you know how to recognize hazards. OSHA 30 is more where hazard abatement, you know how to mitigate,
Mhm.
you see the hazard, you know how to either eliminate it or mitigate it.
Mhm.
So uh OSHA 10 is a 10-hour course, OSHA 30 is a 30-hour course. It's kind of sort of the same, you just go a lot more in depth.
So would that increase your pay in many ways, from OSHA 10 to
It
get to OSHA 30, or it depends?
It can, yeah, definitely. It's just like if we think about the military, when you go in as from E1 to E4, that
Right.
entry level pay, and then when you go to E5
Exactly.
and 6.
Exactly.
So it can, because when you can say, if a job write a duty scope or a job scope, and they're looking for an OSHA 30, and it's probably offering more money. You know, so you definitely want to make sure that you know, you understand um, your personal roadmap of how you trying to pursue your career. You know, if you just starting off at the entry level, having an OSHA 10 card on your resume makes you more appealing to the employer than a non 10,
Right.
you know, and then same
But
thing with having an OSHA 30.
my question is, what is the difference between the tweak card and the OSHA 10? Didn't they be the same?
No, a TWIC card. Now we're talking about um, that kind of relates more to our oil and gas industry. And
Okay,
they have
gotcha.
us, you know, two cards that they normally require you to have in order to access that
Oh,
that
gotcha,
plant.
gotcha.
You know, and one of them is the TWIC card. TWIC is TWIC. And I don't know if the ping, I actually got a TWIC card here. You know, it's really a background check. It's
Oh, okay.
it's where it's like this entity. You go in and give them some of your personal information, and they send off to make sure that you're not a
criminal.
somebody that's a terrorist.
Right.
You know, so that's what that TWIC card is. And
Background
then
investigation.
it's a background investigation. There ain't nothing you can do. Just go there, give them information, pay your money, and wait.
Gotcha.
You know, so and that is a TWIC card. And then I think we've coined the basic site safety orientation plus card, which is the second card that you need to go work in the oil and gas industry, in the plant industry. We coined that card as an OSHA card, but it's not. Because you always hear people saying, I need my OSHA card and my TWIC card, my OSHA card. But the OSHA, I mean, this card here, I don't know if you can see it. It's a card with your picture on it that you get from the Safety Alliance, from the Safety Council. You sit in the class for about 6 or 7 hours or so, and then you take a test, and they give you this card, and it has your picture on it. And a lot of companies do, you know, they want the site, you know, so it's geared towards the site that you're going to be working at. So, but that's different than a OSHA card. Let me see if I can kind of share my screen and show them
as he pulling up there, people, please share this information because we want to make sure that our young kids getting the best of the best.
Yeah. So what you see on the screen now, those are OSHA cards. Those are real OSHA cards, you know, and you can see the OSHA symbol at the top left-hand corner, and you can see the 4 different categories. The card at the top, all the way to the top, is a card that a certified instructor receives. So when you go through certain classes, you become a OSHA certified instructor. That qualifies you to issue the 10 and the 30.
Oh, okay.
You give the 10 class, like I'm an OSHA certified instructor, so I can give an OSHA 10-hour class and give the OSHA card, and I can do the OSHA 30-hour. So I'm construction and general safety.
Okay.
Right. So you have to get certified in each. You can't be certified in construction and issue a maritime card. You know, so those are so now for those of us that are working out in the industry and planning on going to the industry, understand that this is what a true OSHA card looks like. And it doesn't have an expiration date. You know, the company that you work, the company that you work for might want you to go through a refresher course, but those cards doesn't have an expiration date. Whereas your card that you receive from the Safety Council expires every year, and then you have to do a refresher.
Refreshment, yeah.
And that material that you learn is basically some of the same material as OSHA.
Right.
You know, so some of the same stuff.
Now, let me ask you, and I want the our audience to realize this. I don't care what state that you are in, we can qualify to get you certified in OSHA 10 and 30. And if you want to, what about people that can't make it? I mean, join our classes.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, you got hybrid classes. And I'll say you can do an online class, or for those that are here local, you can do it face-to-face, you know, in person.
And how do they, you know, well, let's cover these a couple of other things. Who is,
well, let me, while we right there, Clayton, and this is something that I just did, you know, being from the AMET, you know, being a graduate of AMET High School and living in the city of Independence, just the community outreach, man, something that God placed on my heart, that I'm starting with AMET High School, being that's my alma mater. I sent the email, a proposal to the principal, and one of his department heads that's over the NCCER, the vocational program, reached out to me, and I told him I would like to just create an initiative to be able, for those students that have completely or successfully completed the basic safety part of NCCER core, I would like to give them some additional information, a class, and give them a free OSHA 10 card.
Oh man!
So it's just not, I'm just not talking. I mean, talking to talk. Yeah, exactly. Lip service. I'm kind of spearheading this, and and leaning forward and leading by example. So I'm starting the initiative by trying to get every kid in our communities, every kid. It doesn't matter, if they're planning on going to the construction industry and they're doing their part by taking the class NCCER core. Hey, I'm willing to do my part.
Now, does all high schools teach that NCCER?
Yes.
All high schools?
Yes, man. You're talking about when you wow, I know here in the parish, when you're talking about NCCER, man, that's a card. And you're talking about, you can have about three or four. This is a NCCER card where you get the NCCER number, right? So when you do your registration, you're going to get a number before you even start taking class. You're going to get the NCCER card. Your second class, which is the basic safety, if a certified instructor teaches that class, you can get an OSHA 10 card.
Oh, wow. Gotcha.
So now you have NCCER core when you complete core in high school. You have your OSHA 10 card. Then you go get your basic site safety orientation card, and you get your TWIC card.
Wow.
Those are resume boosters. And then you have, and you and I, we're both certified CPR instructors. And that's another thing we're planning on doing, is trying to get our kids CPR certified. So to have those resume boosters, so when they go out to the workforce, they tell us, they indirectly telling their potential employer that, hey, I know how to work safe. And then, oh, by the way, if somebody possibly get hurt on a job, I know first aid, I know CPR. So it makes you more value. You're bringing value to the table. And that NCCER for the kids and parents that's out there and don't really understand the value of what your kid is taking, when you're in school, it's free. I like to tell the kids it's free 99. It's
NCCER.
NCCER core is free.
Wow.
Outside of school, that's $1,000 class. So that's $1,000 you have to pay for that class to get this card core.
Wow.
So it's best to take advantage of NCCER core.
So that guy that told you making all that money, so apparently he must have took these courses.
Yes.
Oh man, all high schools offer this course free?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, that's an entry level right there.
That's it, man. That's it. So now when you graduated from high school, and you go out there to the workforce and you have this card, that you're speaking to the employer that's saying, hey, that you're trying to do some self-development. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to level yourself up. So
okay, just piggyback on what you just said, this first stage class, you not only teach it for the workforces. What about churches and stuff like that? For people's home, how would you give them a group meeting? I mean, first aid is important at home.
Yeah, it is. And again, that's something I think that all our kids should know, because that's not just, like you said, for the workplace. Something can happen at home, and you definitely will want your family member to know how to administer first aid. You will want them to know how to administer CPR. You don't have access to AED at your home, but you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver and all that kind of stuff. You definitely would, something that needs to be taught. When we're talking about the basics and the fundamentals, man, this is something that needs to be promoted worldwide. That's me. But I'm just this little country boy from A Beating Independence. Who am I? I'm just going to try to do my part.
If you look at the home and how many accidents and how many fatal accidents happen at home, even teaching kids 911.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not, people don't, we saving lives.
Man.
And you know what? You might think Derek and Clayton,
Mhm.
years down the road, your kids them got burned up in the house, or your kid them went through some type of tragedy. At least they got education and knowledge on how to respond.
Yeah, and you said something earlier, Clayton, about how this OSHA, the workplace safety, we're trying to make people aware of. It transitioned to the home,
You're
you know,
right.
into the community. For example, one of the safety classes that we teach in OSHA 10, it talks about masonry, you know, and you know, we see people, you know, like when they out pouring, when they working on residential homes or just pouring cement
Mhm.
at the home front. You don't see them wearing no kind of PPE.
That's true.
They're not wearing any goggles.
Mhm.
They're not wearing any protective mask. You know, you see them when they crack the bag open, they pour it in that, all this dust that just flies out. Just imagine what happens to that when you put water on it.
Right, I got you.
It gets hard.
Right.
So now when you're inhaling this stuff
You're right.
and it get in your system, and when that make contact with the fluids of your body, it hardens, which can cause cancer. You know, that's something that's called silica dust. You know, some things that we just do, even out here. Let's talk about something even simpler. One of the things that we all, you know, we see just cutting the board with the regular circular saw.
Right.
We call it a skill saw.
Mhm.
Any kind of saw, jigsaw, and you cutting a board. What does it do? It
Right.
you know, sawdust,
you
right?
inhale it.
Exactly. But think about the board that has been treated, a treated board.
Right.
You know, not just it's treated with a chemical, and we just cutting it and we inhaling it, and we don't know the harm that is causing us. And not only from just inhaling, but what about going into your eye cavity?
You're right.
It going into your eye cavity and things that we just don't even think about. We think this workplace, this safety stuff only applied to people in the workplace because nobody's there watching us. We don't have to abide by these rules and regulations.
Derek, you brought up a point. All these guys learned how to do concrete.
A lot of here in Independence. You probably been thinking about 10 different crews that do.
And you know what? None of them have on safety gear.
Nothing.
They just make that hustle. And then again, I had a friend, you might not know, Emmanuel Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them died from cancer.
And they probably don't know why.
They don't know why.
Exactly. And because we have not been properly trained.
Exactly.
You know, back in the days, man, nobody wasn't talking about no OSHA.
Right.
You know, so.
But your personal opinion,
Mm-hmm.
since we're talking about OSHA, do you feel, even though people take chance on their life, do you think it should be mandatory that anyone that is exposed to any hazard material that's going to cause a health factor should be certified?
Yes. Yes.
Even the guys in the concrete.
Yes.
Because you're talking about the health.
That is, you know, I don't know of any job that you're not being exposed to some kind of hazard. Let's take the people that works in the office that sit behind a desk.
Right.
Are they exposed to any hazards?
Yeah.
Yeah. The type of chair that you sit in.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
The type of typewriter that you use can cause carpal tunnel. You know, and some people don't know that is OSHA.
Right.
All of that is OSHA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why you see some people invest in expensive chair. Mm-hmm. You know, because they sit down all the time. So they need to, it's called ergonomics. So it needs to be addressed. You need, it doesn't matter.
So what about proper lighting?
Yes.
Can I be sued on that too?
Yes.
So OSHA
it governs everything.
If I'm in the workforce, if my lights is not, they can come in and say you don't have adequate light.
Yeah.
And it can create a hazard.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't. Well, so either you're gonna have to comply with the rules or you're gonna get fined.
Exactly. Exactly. And you can, if OSHA inspector comes on your job, and let's just say Clayton, he's in a construction site where he's supposed to have his PPE on. He's supposed to have a hard hat on, he don't have it on. He's supposed to have goggles on. He don't have it. It's just irritating. It's uncomfortable.
Right.
Right. You're supposed to have gloves on. They check your shoes. You don't have steel toe boots on. You don't have no respiratory. You don't have no You, man, do you know how much money you finna get cost this company?
Oh, believe me, believe me. I'll look at some statistic how much they charge one company.
Exactly.
We ain't talking about no 100,000. We
Man,
talking about millions.
It's gonna cost you.
Right.
It's gonna cost you. So now, you're talking about a small business, a company can't afford that kind of fine.
Right.
You put out of business.
Now, even like the general industry, restaurant, food safety.
Food safety.
Food safety. Is that a major OSHA issue?
Well, that's
I know.
I think that falls is under food safety. I think that falls more of under FDA.
Okay,
Food and drug administration. You know, so but that you have an industry that governs that.
You're right,
and all letters from the federal government.
Right.
You know, so it's you know, at one time they was here recently with our current administration. They were talking about OSHA. They was talking about Department of Labor, and I don't know if they trying to beef it up or if they trying to cut. But that's been a topic.
You're right.
That's been a major topic. So, and speaking of that, I don't know if our listeners and viewers heard about the major plant that's getting ready to come here to the state of Louisiana.
Let's talk about that because it's right. The big plant, they need some skilled workers.
Like almost $6 billion. $6 billion.
Wow.
Right. Hyundai, however you pronounce it, is getting ready to put a steel mill. They're supposed to start construction next year, as early as next year, 2026.
That's a big paying job.
That's major, man. Now, for those of us that are looking to go into the workforce, and you know, so some good things are getting ready to happen. You just need to be prepared. You got to prepare yourself.
In the steel industry, also, they are required that they have an OSHA 10, OSHA 30.
And it's not here in the state of Louisiana is not required. And that's what I'm saying. In the steel, well, they might just like working in the plants, they don't require it. But then if you go work for a union, union might require you to have an OSHA 10. You know, so because that union job might send you out of state, and you might go to a state where it's mandatory to have an OSHA 10. Right. You know, you're talking about Nevada, New York, I think Massachusetts. There's several different places where OSHA is mandatory. You know, Cal has Cal OSHA. You know, so why not here in the state of Louisiana? You know, working around the things that we work in.
So let's get back to this OSHA 10, OSHA 30, because I think that we need to please discover this again, because I didn't know this. They had this in high school.
This NCCER?
I didn't know they had it in all high school.
Yes, man. Let me see this book right here. I mean,
this is something that.
So this is when
how much they had to pay for this if they had to take.
And a core is like $1,000. I don't know if you can see. So this is how deep Clayton and I go. We don't just stop at core. This is, if you can see, this is fundamentals of crew leadership, NCCER. Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and you know we don't just stop with the core and then the crafts. You know, we definitely like to dig into our leadership and definitely be able to teach our crew leaders leadership. You know, so just being a manager, supervisor, or superintendent, or whatever the title is out there in those industries is simply not enough. You need to know about leading people. And we used an example earlier about having people working in an unsafe work environment. You know, how empathetic is that? How compassionate is that you would have somebody to work in, you know, in the military, we prided ourselves on working injury-free, you know, having a certain length of time where we don't have any injuries, you know, and being able to send our people home the same way that they came, you know, we're doing our safety briefing. So, you know, it's not all about the mission. Right. Our order of precedence is our people, our mission, ourselves. That's the order of precedence, you know. So and before we do any job, we do, you know, a risk assessment. And if the risk is too high, we don't do the job.
Who has the overall responsibility to ensure OSHA is carried out? Each supervisor, is the shop manager, or the
it's actually the I would say it's the person himself first. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? If you want to, the person should be definitely aware to keep themselves safe, and then you got to go to the leadership on up to the company.
Okay.
It's
Is that documentation?
yes.
Is it required for safety every year, or it depends on the situation? These people's got to go through and ensure safety. They saying what they call it, the OSHA manager got the overall responsibility to ensure that all people. And is there anything that to certify them that they, whether it be an orientation that they took this class?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, gotcha.
And we don't. I don't even want to get into that because I mean,
Right.
But and we can. Me personally, I wouldn't just put my safety in the hands of my manager.
Right.
That's my responsibility. First.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, based on OSHA, based on hey, yeah, and that, I mean, that's key. That's
Okay.
Now, and the reason why I say that is because let's just take a look at a company. It's just a company that we all a name that we all possibly is familiar with, like a Turner or Performance or Brand Safeway. And you have on one particular job site, you have, let's just say 200 people, 300 people that's working on that job site. How many safety managers do you have? How many safety managers? What is that ratio from employee to managers? Is it 25 people to one manager? Is it 50 to one?
Go ahead.
So you're saying we only need one certified safety manager to oversee 50 people, one certified safety manager to oversee 25 people. I don't like those ratios.
Right.
I think, like you said, if I'm in direct supervision over this person, I need to be safety certified.
Exactly.
I need to be, if I'm supervising 5 people, I need to be safety certified. I don't just need to be aware of safety. I don't need to just to be OSHA 10 or either OSHA 30 certified. I mean, with the OSHA 30 card, I need to be safety certified.
Right. Now, my question is, if they came in, you got a large organization, if they came in and inspect my department, does that necessarily mean the whole organization failed?
Yeah, I mean, that's the company.
Right, exactly.
I mean, where this department caused the company to fail. You think about it in the military.
Right.
I mean, your department could be squared away. It's a team effort.
You're right.
It's a team effort.
Absolutely, right.
Because it's gonna cause the company to lose money. So if they come in and inspect and everything is good, but there's one area, the company still lose money.
It's a major issue. Yeah, because I just want the people that working in these plants to be aware of your duties and responsibilities and what you can and cannot do. Because I think a lot of these guys in the plant, they're either afraid, they know they've been treated a certain way. I can't talk, man. I can't talk right now. But I might not be here working tomorrow if it get in the hands of the wrong person. But is there any promotion that you think that you can give those employees? Okay, what is in it for me if I report as a hazard, a safety deal?
Your life.
Okay.
Your life.
Is there any reward or incentive that you can get
does it get any better than that? Your life.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I mean, now think about it, man.
You're right.
When you're talking about working out there in the oil and gas industry down in the plant, man, it's only one hazard from one somebody can cause all of it.
You're right.
So you need to have that personal courage. You need to be courageous enough to say, hey, anybody should be, as a safety officer, be able to stop work. You may know, hey, Clinton, what you doing is, hey, that's unsafe, man. You're gonna kill all us out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the courage enough to do that, and I don't need you to be in the foxhole with me.
Right.
I don't need you to be working on the job site with me. You just gonna overlook this person because he's your friend or whatever. No, man, if you my friend, hey man, put your hard hat on.
Right.
Hey man, put your eye protection on. Because how would that make me feel if you got to go home blind?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Simply because I didn't say anything. Now you really can't see your grandkids grow. You can hear them grow, but you can't see them and watch them grow.
Right.
All because I was too much of a coward to tell you, hey man, put your glasses on, put your hard hat on.
But if I was if I was in position of power to oversee this, the person that went through and got hurt, can they sue me?
No.
Really?
Some up
Workplace safety.
Sue like if it's me and you.
I mean, sue the company.
Oh yeah. That's who they gonna sue, the company.
Yeah, okay, because I was finna say, even though I may have been part of that failure, I can be charged with.
Oh, it depends. Now you could possibly be charged with neglect. I mean, you know, if you did something that was possibly unsafe, I mean,
so
the first thing they want to try to prove you not worthy. You know, they want to try the first thing they probably. What do you think a company, if you get hurt on the job, what do you think the first thing they're gonna do?
Hey, they're gonna go and file some type of a complaint, or I'm gonna get me a lawyer.
No, I'm talking about the company.
What the
companies are probably already got
the law. They're gonna cover up. They're gonna try to.
What is that? Clayton got his finger smashed on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Clayton need to go up there, his finger hanging off, and Clayton need to go to the hospital. What do you think the first thing they're gonna do to Clayton?
I'm gonna try to wrap it up.
No, what the company's gonna do to you?
I'm gonna try to get rid of you, baby, because first of all, I need to do an analysis, the cause and the effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you was that negative, well, that's a long investigation to determine what the company gonna CYA. They're gonna cover their ass, and so rather if they feel that they getting ready and they're wrong and they're gonna lose money, they're gonna come up with all type. Hey, you was just careless.
First thing they're gonna do, they're gonna do a drug analysis.
You're right.
They want to see if you. They want to make sure to see.
Right.
They're gonna see if you high, if you've been drinking. That's the first thing. Hey man, you got a PP, man. You got to.
Hey baby, I can't even urinate today, baby.
We're gonna take some hair follicles. We're gonna take something.
Okay,
because we need to put you in the wrong.
Right.
So boy, you been smoking.
Right.
You've been got some of that nose candy.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You've been doing something. They need to see if you're gonna come up hot on the urinalysis.
So if you're gonna
if you come up hot on the urinalysis,
hey baby, good luck. I'll see you later. You can go ahead and sign out. We don't need you no more.
But yeah, man. But you know,
when you talk about workplace safety, man, that drug and alcohol and people's abusing substance. Hey, we talking about safety in the workplace.
Right. You know, speaking of safety, and something that we, you know, I'm just gonna say we're gonna do it. We're gonna give a free class. This is gonna be a free class. This is gonna be on me and you.
All right.
You okay with that?
I'm good with it because we're all about serving the community. Again, this is just like opening up a store. We're gonna welcome you as in, but you're gonna start paying. No. We having fun. Yeah. But Derek, I'm gonna let you talk because I know I can get a little emotional.
And we're gonna man, that's gonna be another topic. And we talking about emotional intelligence and emotional immaturity. But that's gonna be another topic for another.
You didn't refer that to me when you said emotional immaturity.
I mean, you said it. I was just reiterating. You said that you can get a little emotional.
I tell you what, we can talk about this once we get off air because this is not a play. We're talking about workplace development, and I guess that could be part of workplace development.
You're absolutely right. And that's to know how to put your feelings aside.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. And know how to work from your emotions, not your feelings.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's part of OSHA. Hey, babe, I'm glad you brought me back to reality.
But the class that I was referring to, man, what season are we getting ready to go into? We're getting ready to go into the summer season. Yeah, so people need to know how to work in those kind of conditions. So when we're talking about giving a heat safety class, you know, so that's something that we'll do because sometimes people just know, they just think, hey, I just go out here and drink some water,
right,
and I'll be good. You know, no, it's much more than that when you're talking about
But I just wanted you, Derek, I don't know if you heard about it. Last week in Baton Rouge, when we're talking about occupational safety, these forklifts and these heavy equipment, it got more people are getting killed on it because they have not been properly trained. They don't understand. I mean, for example, this forklift turned over and killed 2 people.
Yeah, man.
I
See,
mean, it's people don't have any idea about how many people get killed
yes.
every day
Yeah.
because
And then the next segment, I actually have some data, you know, because you have this thing that's called Focus Forward. When you're talking about the different topics of OSHA classes, and it's four major ones. They call it, excuse me, they call it Focus Forward. These four categories tend to kill more people, the most, you know,
wow, focus
cause
four.
the most fatalities on the
Wow,
Focus Forward. And we'll talk about that, you know, to make people aware. But you're absolutely right. Simply because we don't hear about it, it doesn't mean it's not happening.
right.
It's happening all the time. It's really, really happening. And the one that causes the most fatalities is falls.
Right, the
You know,
fall.
and when we think about falls, that's causing the most fatalities. What are we thinking about? Somebody falling
From a
from,
ladder.
you know,
Well,
but that's what,
I'm a roof.
yeah, from no, but it could be off of a ladder.
Right.
You know, we're talking about just a regular A-frame ladder people
Mhm.
falling off of because they don't know how to properly
Right.
utilize a ladder. You know what I'm saying? Because what do? We're gonna stand all the way on the top. We're gonna turn around and come down the
Right,
ladder
right,
the wrong
right,
way.
right,
You
right.
slip, ladder go this way, you fall on your face. So it's just certain things that we don't really
There.
think about.
What you just said just then,
Mm-hmm.
the number one thing that happened in a household
Exactly.
is ladders.
Ladders.
Now, Clayton, you know you there by yourself.
Thank
It's
you.
an old ladder you got.
Mm-hmm.
Now you by yourself, and you did not make sure that it was balanced. And now you done made the wrong move. Now you're laying down there.
Yeah, or you done went up too high.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, you done are you up and you reaching over like this?
Right.
Now you done pushed it. So those are the things that we don't think about, man. That causes a lot of fatalities and a lot of
Right.
injuries right there in the home.
You're right.
You
You're
know.
right.
So, but yeah, man. But Clayton, man. I think we, you know, we can bring it to a close, man. And for those that are out there that's listening, hey, OSHA, you know, it's major, it's big, you know, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. NCCER, you know, for those of you that are listening to have school age kids that are in high school, grandkids, and they're possibly not considering going to college, make sure that they're taking that NCCER. Even if they are going to college, I have some of the students in JROTC that still took NCCER, but they still plan on going to college, you know, because you can, once you take it, you have it forever. It
Wow.
goes into the platform, the NCCR platform, and develops a transcript. You know, as soon as you finish one module, it automatically uploads into the system. So now, when you're done with high school and you choose to go to another accredited training facility, which we're also NCCR training accredited. You start from there and continue to build. I don't care if you go to the work for Turner and they have a training and they doing NCCR. If you go to North Shore, if you go, it doesn't matter. It's still there. You get this number, your NCCR number. They put it in the system, and all your
that is updated.
all your classes and courses that you've taken is right there. So, and for those of you that don't know who we are, I mean, we kind of introduced ourselves, but we also is a training academy right here in AMEET. You know, we do NCCR training, we do scaffolding training, we do safety, construction site safety tech and supervisor training. We do crew level fundamentals of crew level leadership. We do pipe fitting. We do first aid. We do OSHA 10 and 30. And we're just going to continue to build and build. And we're just of service. You know, again, we've been serving for a long time and we like to call ourselves leaders, but more importantly, we are servant leaders. This is a part of our service to our community. So
Look, also, Derek, one of the most important things that people need to find out how they need to get hold to you. We need to, tell them what website, what phone number.
Yeah.
Because
my contact phone number 985-215-5678. It is 215, right? Yeah. 215-5678. And email address is grow. GR
517. Wasn't that 517? Or the 215?
517. You're right. Yeah. 985-517. 5678. The email address is grow, GROW, at tlctrainingacademy.org. And
Please say it again, because some people may.
yeah, it's grow, that's GROW, at tlctrainingacademy.org. It's a dog leg off of our early learning center up in AMEET, the TLC Early Learning Center right there in on 501 South Bay Street in Butlertown and AMEET, right there next to AMEET High School. So if you can't get us by way of email, and possibly I gave the wrong number, just stop over there and tell my wife that, hey, Derek said stop by and get you information. So we that approachable, we that touchable. So we right here in the community. We not somewhere far off. So again, hey,
if they can't get hold of you, get my number.
Yes, and Clayton. Also, let me give them the website. Our website is www.tlctrainingacademy.org. That's www.tlctrainingacademy.org.
Yes, and also if you couldn't get a hold to Derek, you can call 985-606-2200 and leave a message. And we work together. And we want y'all to please pass this information on. I don't care what state you're. For all my kids up in Springfield, Massachusetts, look, if Sarge can help you to get in those plants, feel free to give us a call.
Yeah, most definitely. There's no place too close or too far. We can do classes by way of Zoom or StreamYard, just by way of virtual or face to face. I also think our next class, we're going to be talking about the WIOA program, also a part of the workforce development, where they actually have funding available for you to take some of these classes free of charge. Wow. So again, we will be talking about and discussing the WIOA program, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. That's to kind of help restore or vitalize the workforce development, so they have funds available for in-school youth, out-of-school youth, and adults to as long as the program is under the WIOA program, the craft that you're looking to see is has to be a high demand, high wage job here in the state of Louisiana. And you can find it out through the Louisiana Workforce Commission. That's what we used to call as the unemployment office. So if you think about it, the unemployment office wants to employ as many people as possible and have them ready for the workforce. So they, through the Department of Labor, they have these fundings under this act. This act, back in 2014, President Barack Obama wanted everybody to be able to go to college, at least to receive a certification or an associate's degree for free. So that's what that act was birthed, the WIOA, Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So if you are under the sound of my voice, it doesn't matter if you're here in the state of Louisiana, any state in the United States, they have the WIOA program. And if you'd like to know more about that, hey, it doesn't matter where you choose to get your training from. It doesn't necessarily have to be from us. Hey, give us a shout. And if we can help you where you are, hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to be of service. All right. So anything else, Clayton?
No. Again, it's a pleasure. And if you can look at us and say that these guys are community service, they trying to build a community. We're not asking you for anything. You take advantage of us. Again, we both retire here in the military. Instead of you going down to all these different places, get your OSHA 10, OSHA 30, and your
NCCER.
Look, the course going to cost you
just a little time.
Now, you say if they went to the workforce, WWIC, and tell them that
go to the Louisiana Workforce Commission. Right here in Hammond is off Market Street, down on the side street by Ha-Ho Sam. That's the Workforce Commission. And, ask them about some funding, some grants, scholarships that's available, and ask them about the WIOA program. And they will kind of, tell you more about it and see if the course or class that you want to take is funded under that program, right? So again, man, it's a lot of stuff that's out there that's available. That's available. So take advantage of it. And if we can help you, by all means, um, hey, pick our brain, and definitely we want to, at least on the front end, try to get you certified so you can go make some money. And then on the back end, we're going to be giving some financial management, financial leadership classes, or a literacy class to teach you how to keep a lot of that money. Right. So we just want to train the whole person. So if you're seeing some things when we're advertising out there on social media and we are saying it's for free, that's what we mean. So we're not trying to bait you in, and you know how some of these advertisements do, and they trying to say, hey, it's for free, and then they send you down this clickbait and do all this other kind of stuff, and then at the end of it, it's a fee attached to it. We don't have no fee attached to it.
Right.
Like we said, hey, we want to be able to give our kids that have completed the basic safety of core. We want to give them an OSHA 10 card. That's of courtesy of the TLC Training Academy, or the TLC Learning Center here in AME. We're going to sponsor that. We're going to pay for that. We're going to give the class. We're going to pay for it. You just give us your time, and we will give you the card. So AME High School, if we have any AME High School faculty members, a principal, whoever is out there on the sound of my voice, hey, ask your kid or the kids, have they completed NCCER core, and get with us. We're going to come up with a date and a time, and it's possibly just going to be one day. It's going to be one day, do the training, and we'll submit and get you your card. So that can be a great resume booster. When we say we're going to do a CPR class for free, whenever we announce something for free, it definitely won't be any money out of your pocket. Let's put it like that.
Right.
It definitely won't require you to pay anything, you know. And if it comes to it that, hey, we can't get you funded through the WIO program or grant funding, hey, we're going to get you certified.
Exactly.
Trust me.
Exactly.
Believe that. All right. So and also just like to blow the trumpet for anybody that have a skill set in any of those crafts, be it scaffolding, be it pipe fitting, be it baller making, be it safety, any craft that's being offered out there in the industry that would like to come to be a part of this, to help with this community development initiative that we're trying to do. Hey man, come please, we ask you. You know, we're just trying to get in the lane that we know. We don't want to step outside our lane and get somebody else's lane. You know, hey, let's come together. Because I know right here in the Tangipahoa Parish, we have a huge percentage of the people that work out there in the oil and gas industry. And it's across all demographics. This is not just for one demographic. This is not just for white people or black people. No, this is for everybody. You know, we're going to, hey, call out the mayors, the city councilmen, all of this, man. Let's come together, because we're it just seems as though we're becoming too divided because of political affiliation. You know, we can't allow that to affect, you know, us here locally and in our community. We still got to be able to come together, because if we don't teach our kids and train our kids where they can go out there and make an earnest living, trust me, and we don't get them out of the house while you at work, they're gonna go in your house. So they're gonna try to get what they want by any means necessary. So it would behoove us to come together and get our kids some skill sets, be it a hard skill, soft skills, to be able to go out there and make an honest living.
Amen on that.
So yeah. So again, hey man, we greatly appreciate you guys. I know they had this over in Baton Rouge when I was teaching ROTC over there. I know my uncle and them used to live over there, and they used to go to this thing called Live After 5 or Live at 5 or something like that. So this is Live After 5. Live After 5. Hey, again, thanks to everybody, man. We greatly appreciate you. You know, our motto, you know, we've coined this, and we've adopted as our own. You know, we always either start our segment or end our segment with ready, set, grow. Hey, let's grow. Let's make learning a lifelong venture. Let's never get to the point where we feel as though we've learned too much and we can't learn from one another. Hey, we got to have the growth mindset. So, hey, we greatly appreciate you guys and gals listening to us. Until next time, hey, we double salute you. Hey,
Adios.
God bless you.